Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today I'm super excited to jump in and show you the all new Urban Decay Reloaded eyeshadow palette. I absolutely love Urban Decay. It's actually one of my very first brands that I ever bought when I first started buying expensive makeup, and Naked One palette was my very first eyeshadow palette that I had ever bought, and I'm really sad that that palette is now discontinued, but the Reloaded palette is supposed to be in replacement of the Naked One palette. So if you haven't already seen the color shades and how they swatch, then keep on watching. Okay, so I am wearing some of the eyeshadows from this palette right now. I will share those shades later on when I talk about the shades, but it's really nice. I love the warm tones that are in this palette, and they also have some cool tones as well, which I really like. And let's talk about the packaging. It is absolutely beautiful. If you haven't already got your hands on this packaging, at least go to Sephora and just touch and feel the packaging. It is so nice. It's like a satin material. It is so sleek and beautiful. I absolutely love the packaging. It's almost like a cushiony type material. It reminds me of like a seat cushion. I love the gold lettering. I just think that is so nice and sleek. The back is about the same as well, with the floral background, which is what this background is. And I just love how different this packaging is compared to the previous Naked palettes that have came out. As you know, a lot of them were like that tinny type material, which I liked because it's easy to clean up. They had like a really nice closure where it really didn't open up in your bag or in your travels. And if you remember the Naked One, which I still have the eyeshadow palette here, and I am just cherishing this eyeshadow palette with my life. I absolutely love this palette. Like I said, it was my very first palette that I had ever bought from Sephora when I first started buying more expensive makeup, and it kind of reminds me the same type of packaging minus the floral, but the gold lettering is about the same. The magnetic closure is the same as well as the Reloaded palette, and I just really loved this because it was velvety and it was different and it was just a nice feeling. So they kind of did the similar thing with this palette as well, and I'm just really happy with the packaging. I really love it. The only downfall is if you're somebody that likes to travel and have a lot of makeup in your makeup bag, if you combine this with other powders, it may transfer onto this material and it may not clean up as well as like a tinny type material. So if you're careful enough, this shouldn't be a problem to clean up, but keep that in mind that because it's material, it could get dirty with other makeup if everything's all in the same bag. I do want to mention that this palette retails at $55 Canadian and $44 American. It's also cheaper than every Naked palette that they have in their Naked line. So I think the Naked 3, the Heat palette, the Cherry palette, all of the previous Naked palettes have been about $10 more than this eyeshadow palette, and everyone really couldn't figure out why. And I think personally it's the packaging. It's not tinny, it's material, and also it doesn't have a brush in this palette as well. If you saw in the Naked 3, the Heat, the Cherry palette, all those previous eyeshadow palettes always had a single or double-ended eyeshadow brush that would be included underneath the colors. This one doesn't come with the brush, and it's also a material casing. So I think that might be why it's cheaper. I don't know, I could be wrong, but it makes sense and I'm okay with that. I have my own brushes, and if it's $10 cheaper, girl, that's perfect. I just love a good deal. Packaging is just something that all of us like, and if it's pretty and it's worth showcasing, then a lot of us are going to do it. So again, this is really affordable because it's going to last you a really long time. All of my Naked palettes have lasted me a really long time, and I know that there is an expiration dates on makeup. Like this one here says that it expires in 24 months, so that's 2 years. And I have to be honest with you, my Naked palettes I might have for like 3.5 years, and I still use them. I don't throw them away, and maybe I'm bad for not throwing that away, but honestly, if you're getting the same color payoff and it still works for you, why not just keep using it and one day chuck it when you're ready to get rid of it. Okay, so let's get right into the color shades, and I just think this palette is so beautiful. They have a lot of warm tones and a couple of cool tones as well. Now I will get closer, and I'm sorry the light is kind of like reflecting off this black plastic here. But as you can see, before I get it started, this is a nice mirror just like all of their other eyeshadow palettes. I do have a clear thing on this right now, which when you get, you can just pull off. But it's actually great for this video so that you won't get blinded by my light right here. So you have a nice mirror to apply your eyeshadows with. And as you can see, this shade right here and this shade right here, which is the two lightest shades in the palette, those are larger pans than the remaining colors in the center, if you can see that. And what Urban Decay did was they said, okay, these two colors are probably going to be your most used shades, as they're transition shades, highlight shades, and an all over lid color. So they've made those colors larger so that you won't hit pan as quickly as some of their previous palettes, which I just absolutely love and think that's amazing, because as you know, there's a lot of eyeshadow palettes that we own, and all of the lighter colors, highlight colors, we go through quicker and hit pan on quicker. So I really loved how they made those larger so it will take longer to hit pan and use up. The second color, the second shade beside those ones are just a little bit bigger than these colors here. So those are going to be your transition colors for the crease, and they've also made those larger as well. Just loved how they did that. They haven't done that with their eyeshadow palettes yet. Out of all the Naked eyeshadow palettes, they've never done that. So I really love how different and how creative they were when they made this palette. They've made the go-to neutral colors bigger, and I was so smart of them. So as you can see, there are a lot of warm shades, and there's also a lot of cool tone shades as well. I really love this peachy pink color right here. I really love those. And this nice silvery color is really pretty too. So there's a lot of different colors in here that are quite different than the original Naked One palette. And if I compare the two palettes together, quite different. This one here has a lot of browns, deeper tones, and this one here has a lot of warm tones, cool tones, pinks. So it's quite different. They have similar colors, but I just think they're totally different. I know some people think they're the exact same, but I really don't. I personally think there's a lot of different shades, and I feel like you can probably create more looks with the new palette than you could with this one. But I think this palette is really nice. I really do think it's worth it. I love the colors. They're still pigmented just like any other Naked palette. And in the next part, I'm going to show you the color swatches and what they look like on my skin. Okay, so here are the color swatches for the palette. This first color here is called Bribe, and it's a really nice highlight color. This second one here is called Barely Baked. This third one is called Angel Fire, which is a nice pinky shimmer shade, and that's really nice in the inner corner of the eye. This one is Retro. This one here is called Reputation. This one here is called Burn, and these two are my absolute favorites because they go on like butter. They go on so nice, and I just love the texture of these. This one here is the darkest color, and it's called Endgame, and that one there is very hard to work with. It goes on a little blotchy, and you really have to work with that color when it's on. This one here is called Dreamweaver, and that was that nice silver glitter shade. This one here is called Distilled, and this one is really pretty too when it's on. This one here is called Bucked. That one there is called Boundaries. And the last color is called Blur, and that one you really can't see too much of. I've kind of built that color up to show you, but when it's on and you just do one color sweep, it really doesn't show too much on my eyes. But again, these colors are so nice. I love how they swatch. I just really love these colors, and you can definitely have fun with these colors and create a lot of eye looks with them. I will share the colors that I wore on my eyes today, and what I did was I used several different colors just to try out the eyeshadow palette and to show you exactly what you can create with several different shades in the palette. So this first color here I put all over the lid, which is the color Bribe. I put that all over the lid underneath my brow bone. I then went in with the color Bucked, and I put that in the crease all over, as well as putting it on the eyelid as well. I should probably come closer with this, I'm sorry. And Then I also went into this color here, which is called Boundaries, and I also put that in my crease as well to build up the color and to build up depth. And then I went in with the color Endgame, and that there I put in the outer corner, and I also brought it into the crease as well to give more definition. And I don't know if you can see, I did a little light coat into the crease, but I have also built up the outer corner, but then blended it so that there was no harsh lines and it looked more natural. So I took that color in the outer corner, and then when I brought it down into the lower lash line, I actually used the color Distilled and Burn, and I mixed those two together, and I brought it underneath my lash line for that. And then on the eyelid afterwards, I finished the whole look off by adding the color Burn, and I just packed that color onto the eyelid just to give a little bit more color and just to complete the look a little bit more. That color there was my absolute favorite. It's super pigmented, it's buttery, and it just went on like a dream, and I thought that I would carry that color underneath my lash line so that it flowed and it looked complete. So that color Burn is one of my favorites. You're gonna really enjoy that color. And then for the under the brow bone, I did go back in with the color Bribe. And in the inner corner, I went in with Angel Fire, which is that nice shimmer shade right there. And I put that in the inner corner to give a nice highlight. So that is the look that I created today, and I will come in a little bit closer so you can see. And I blended it out pretty well. For some reason in person it looks a lot darker. This bright light in front of me here is making it look a little bit more natural, making it not look so in depth and pigmented, but in person my eyes are actually pretty dark. But you can get a good idea of what this eyeshadow palette can do and what kind of looks you can create with it. Now again, like I said, there's a lot of shimmer shades, a lot of satin shades, and a lot of matte shades in this palette, which gives you a really nice range of different textures. And also with this palette, I did find that some shades did give some fallout, but really a lot of eyeshadow palettes give you that, and it's not really a big deal. You can just grab a clean brush and just sweep underneath your eye to clean it up, and you're done. So the fallout really doesn't bother me. You do get a lot of kickback as well with some of the shades, and what I mean about that is as soon as you dip your brush into a color, you get a lot of eyeshadow that comes off with it. So when you dab it, you see a whole bunch of powder on top. So the eyeshadow just sits on top of the pan, and you just have to blow it off, and that's it. So it kind of can get a little bit messy when there's kickback. So I don't really find that all the colors did that. The one color that did it the most that I found was the color Boundaries, which was this second color in. That one did it quite a bit, and a little bit of the Bribe color here did it as well. But if you're very gentle with your brush, you're not going to get it as bad as if you're going in and you're going crazy and you're trying to grab the color and swirling your brush into the pan. That's when you're going to get a lot of kickback. But if you're really careful, then it's not a problem. It doesn't bother me because a lot of eyeshadow palettes can be like that, and I'm just used to it. If that bothers you, you may not like this palette for certain shades, because not all of them will do that to you. That's really all I have to say about this eyeshadow palette. I wanted to come on here and share what my thoughts and opinions were on this palette and give you color swatches if you haven't already seen it. And by the color swatches and by what I've said to you guys, I really love this palette. It is a great addition to my makeup drawer, and not to mention the packaging is super pretty, and like, why not showcase this on your vanity? I just think if it goes with your bathroom and it's pretty and it makes life prettier, then go for it and showcase it. But anyways, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and let me know below if you've tried this eyeshadow palette out or if you want to, and let me know your thoughts on it. So I will see you in my next video. Take care, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.